I remember when Nigel Short was mounting his assault on the World Championship title back in the early 1990s. He began to employ an opening variation with black in the Queen's Gambit Declined that left many grandmasters astonished. That is to say, in the exchange variation of the Queen's Gambit Declined, he started playing the move Bishop f5, which hitherto had a very bad theoretical reputation. Now, at first sight, that looks like an excellent move. You know, black develops his bishop to an active position. But at second sight, it allows white to play the non-standard move Queen f3. I should say that if white plays routinely in this position with knight f3 or knight e2 or bishop d3, black gets a nice easy position. But Queen f3 really puts the question to black's idea. And the notion is that when black retreats the bishop, white's going to damage black's pawns by taking on f6. But this will show us just what a complex case double pawns in the opening really are. Now, of course, when you look at this position first off, you think this is an ugly situation for black. He's just got doubled isolated pawns, he's got a further isolated pawn on h7, and nothing to show for it. But closer inspection will reveal that it's actually not at all easy for white to take advantage of this pawn weakness. And furthermore, black has some active chances himself. He's got a potentially very strong dark squared bishop. He aims to use it. He's got half open files next to the double pawns. So we could easily imagine black's rooks coming to the e file or maybe even to the g file to again gain some activity. And black's simply not going to sit there and exchange all the pieces, is he? I mean, if white offers exchanges of pieces, black will only take the exchanges if it's advantageous to him. Short re-evaluated this line, and he made people really think about double pawns in chess. Could double pawns be used to activate a person's game? That's what Short thought. So let's just see how the struggle might pan out. I've chosen a game from the French Team Championship in 2005 between Grandmaster Sergei Volkov playing white and Roman Slobodjan playing black. And this game will highlight just how difficult it is for white to get any advantage at all in this position. Well, white played knight f3. In the early days of this line, it was suggested that king d2 was the right move here, intending bishop d3. But of course, when that bishop reaches d3, black's not going to take it unless it suits him. He's going to leave it there. All in all, white's king is rather exposed on d2. It's a bit too early to make that commitment. So Volkov goes through with the normal positional idea in this line of trying to conquer f5. If white can restrain black on that square, if he can occupy that square at the right moment, then he can tie black down. And g3 is a step in the right direction. White's thinking about knight h4, he's thinking about bishop h3, and then one of those pieces into f5. So black's got to fight against that plan. Slobodjan played knight b6. I mean, maybe it's slightly better here to play a5. That seems to me to be a more accurate way to handle the position. You're threatening a4, a3. You want to bring this bishop on f8 into the game as quickly as possible. But knight b6 is another typical idea in the sense that black is manoeuvring his knight to get it to the ideal square d6, whereupon he manages to cover f5. So very interesting ideas here. White played king f2, black played bishop e7, white played rook e1, seemingly leading up to e4, black castled. And black says basically, I don't fear e4 in this position. That opens up the game for my bishop pair. You're welcome to do it. In general, white's got to exhibit some patience in opening up this type of position. So Volkov plays knight g2. Black plays bishop d8, white goes knight f4, and here we are, rook e8. Black occupies the half open file next to the double pawn couplet. White goes h4, still trying to make something of his better pawn structure. Black easily creates a retreat square for his bishop. And now white makes a big decision in this game. He takes on g6. Well, okay, that helps black to get his pawn structure back into shape. Now, bishop d3 was suggested after the game. I think then black would probably be better off playing king g7, now h5. This was thought to be a better way of playing. That forces the exchange on d3, excuse me. And maybe it's slightly surprising that Volkov didn't play this way, but I think in this particular position, black would go f5. And now it's a complex situation. I mean, I think maybe white should have done this, but black is not without chances. As you can see, he's using his pawn on f5 to restrain the white pawns, and black is getting ready to work up some chances on the queen side. So this would be simply unclear. Instead, knight takes g6, f takes g6, g4 is an attempt to get some pressure on the king side by pushing h5 at the right moment. This is what white did, g5. But okay, white can use f5 and g6 for his bishop here, but you can't help but get the impression that most of black's problems are over. So rook d1 was answered by rook f8. White tried to probe the black king side, but to no avail. Black puts his rooks on the e-file and gains sufficient counterplay. So the game drifted to a rather uneventful draw here. White was completely unable to make anything early on of the double pawns. Instead, we get a rather dreary middle game position now. And of course, this is the type of position that Short envisaged when he was investigating this line. White could do nothing better than to get this type of middle game position. So this was an easy way to nullify the dangerous exchange variation of the Queen's Gambit. So here we are, the two players are still playing on. Nothing much is happening in this game. They seem petrified to do anything at all. White tries to play b4. Black is right on time with his counterplay. And after bishop d3, the two players agreed to a draw. So just going back, this short re-evaluation with bishop f5, bishop g6 allowing the double pawns was a very interesting one. And the jury is still out on this line. Many black players play this way. It's a curious case of how a position can look bad, but in fact when handled correctly is not that bad at all.